Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, let's begin. Who wants to go first? Who needs to go? So let's see who's here. Sumi, Grace, Eileen, Eugene, Samantha, Sally is here. Shauna, Liam. Okay. Maybe Sam, do you want to go first?
Sure. Eugene, do you want to pull up the final document?
Yeah.
So this is the final manuscript version that we're going to be submitting for the variant classification project. We're planning to submit. So if there's anything like, I guess, big that we'd want to change, that's kind of like the last thing we're looking to do is just get your final approval before we submit it.
So should we just kind of go through it, Dr. Chae?
Tell me what you've updated.
So we added the abstract. Eugene did that part. Keep scrolling. The introduction is pretty much, materials and methods is pretty much the same. Evaluation of performance. So we did a quality check.
I'm just gonna. This format's weird.
So there's a little paragraph right above the data availability about a quality check that we did. Eugene, if you want to go kind of explain what you did there.
Yeah, just so because the initial runs were quite some time ago, so we wanted to do quality checks. There are any changes within the algorithm tool results, and so what we did initially was we ran all the error, no results, any predictions that gave us difficulty, confirmed that we couldn't get the results that we needed. And then we randomized additional 10 variants for analysis within each tool. And then we analyzed those. And then based on that, we found Polyfen had like three changes maybe. So then we decided to just run all of Polyfen just to see if there are any more changes we could catch. And that's what we did in terms of quality check to make sure all the data was up to date. And we will get the results later.
Okay.
Yeah, and there were a few changes, but at the end of the day, it really didn't change any of the final values, maybe like a decimal point. So it wasn't that significant. And then I just kind of consolidated the results in the discussion section. They were a little wordy. I think I took out a lot of, I was a little redundant where in the results, I rewrote some of the actual data points that are also listed in a table. So I took a lot of that out and they can just refer to the table for the actual numbers. I think that's pretty much it. And then we made a supplemental table with all of the variants, like we discussed at the last lab meeting, the ones we actually included and excluded.
These are quality check paragraph.
Mm.
And then basically just what we decided was that the algorithms showed variability, high sensitivity, low specificity, and that they should be used with caution when giving the variability.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to stay on this time, or we could show them figure and tables?
Maybe we show the figures, yeah.
So these are figures.
Yeah, so the table is the same as what we showed before.
Mm-hmm.
It was really new there. If you scroll down, I think the figure is the same. Yeah, the figure, these are all updated with the quality check. But then the supplemental table at the bottom is new.
Can you zoom it? I can't read. Okay. Can you go up? So this one, I can't really read the numbers inside the bar.
I think
That one
this
is
is a
so blurry on
screenshot of the table.
Is this
Oh,
better?
yeah, that's better.
Much better.
Hmm. I think we should put the number of variant, like n equals, well,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not like that, but I don't know, up on the top or the bottom.
I could try maybe putting it like with the name of the tool. It's like
Yeah,
pod 2, and then underneath it n equals 235.
yeah, that may be much better.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, that's better. So align GD is negative. Can you
Mm-hmm.
explain that?
Yeah, so like we have up in the legend, the MCC values, they basically range from +1 to -1.
Hmm.
And so if it's +1, that means that the like prediction is always correct. So that would be like a perfect prediction. And then
Hmm.
-1 is always false. So I guess I would interpret the align GVGD as being more likely to be false than correct. Is that right, Eugene?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Like then why would you use this? Like this is worse than random, right? Zero being random.
But if we look at its performance,
Yeah, these are
it looks
based
like
on
that.
genes.
Hmm.
So MCC kind of shows it all, but then its individual stats are also not that great for each gene.
Hmm. What did you discuss that I guess the developer of this algorithm might have their own sensitivity specificity paper or performance paper or reference.
Hmm.
So maybe I think that's what reviewers will focus, like what has been traditionally reported by the developer or user. Are we the first one to report negative MCC or no one has reported it before? Or maybe we should write, you know, a couple sentences about that.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it really stands out here. And the best performers are either CAD or Revel.
I think mutation taster was the best overall,
Hmm.
which is interesting because it's actually an individual predictor, whereas a lot of these, I think, well, no, I think 3 of them combine algorithms from like multiple tools.
Hmm.
So we weren't expecting to see that. We thought that the meta predictors would be better.
Interesting.
But
And
it is
did you also discuss that? Like the
Yeah.
meta predictors didn't do better? Okay.
Yeah, because I think other papers had shown that they did do better,
Right. I
which is what
remember
you
the
would
Revel
think.
paper.
Mm-hmm.
so It was interesting because mutation taster was also most recently released and had the highest performance. So, and
Mm.
Align GUD was the oldest release and it had the worst performance.
Ah,
It's the last update, like 2014.
mm,
Um, so we also talked about that.
mm, okay. And one other explanation could be that, the Revel or the combined algorithm perform better in past literature. However, we've only selected the genes that are um, it was highly selected based on the lung cancer targetability or actionability. So maybe with different sets, there could be some difference in performance. Uh, Maybe you can just mention that like one line. Maybe Rebel may still, in general, across all genes, do better, but at least for the ones that we selected, maybe this is the case. Yeah. So just add that line. Okay. This is supplementary table.
Yeah, just like the variants, their categories, and then where we had got it from.
Makes sense.
And then we'll also include the raw data. Because one of the requirements for AACR is data availability. So probably something table like S2, or just like the predictions that were called out for each variant.
Hmm. Okay. Can you show me the whole list?
Oh, yes. And we also included NTRK, which we discussed also why we took it out,
Hmm.
but that it was very hard to deal with without these algorithms, which ones we took out.
So are you gonna take them out?
Oh yeah, they're not
Let's,
included.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, uh, yeah, we just decided not to include them.
Yeah, in the legend, I said that any of the genes with a star we excluded, and we talk about that in the paper.
Oh. What
As
about
our
hold
full
down? What
inclusion
about
guide.
ALK? What did you do with ALK? ALK, um, you put 1 and 0.
One means pathogenic and 0 means benign.
So one pathogenic is, I guess, usually source of resistance.
It could be sensitizing or resisting. We didn't further subcategorize it.
Oh, you didn't. Okay.
We ended up doing that for all the variants, just pathogenic or benign.
But did you at least describe that in the method that it could be but most of them are pathogenic, but let's say for instance, for ALK, the ones that were selected are all resistance genes. The reason is for ALK and ROS1. Do you have ROS1 here too?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only two. ALK and ROS1, they are the fusions are always, or rearrangement are always the drivers. Some reviewers will argue, I hope they don't, there are more resistance uh, mutations than two or a few from ALK. I mean, they're being found as we speak. So My hope is that they don't make big deal out of it. But if they do, we'll just have to add those into our analysis if they want us to add it.
The only
Um,
thing is, I don't know if I could run diffusions in these algorithms.
right. I mean, you told me you can't.
I tried it and I couldn't figure it out.
Uh, yeah, I mean, that's why didn't we classify in the, I mean, said in the title that it's only for single, yeah,
Makes sense.
mutation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm, go to ALK. See, let's see how many resistant genes you have. That looks good enough. So I have a feeling if the lung cancer targeted therapy specialist reviews this, I think there's a very high chance they're gonna come back and say,
Uh,
hey, there are a few more ROS1 resistant genes. So just find the most recent ROS1 review paper. There's a lung cancer ROS1 review papers.
mm,
Um, and they always have nice pie chart, what makes ROS1 resistance, and I'm sure there's more than two. So whatever is in their review, just add them here as well. I know it will change some of your
mm.
a lot of your numbers, but I have a feeling that this is gonna come up and you'll have to do it anyway. Yeah, so let's add a few more for us one. And make sure for us
But you're cutting out for me.
is somewhere. Oh, ROS1 and ALK are both resistance rather than pathogenic. Just describe that in the
Okay.
manuscript. All right. Any other graphs or tables?
That's it.
Okay. Are we submitting to JCOPO?
So I think we talked about submitting to molecular, was it
Mm.
Oh,
therapeutics?
MCT?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Eugene actually noticed there's like a $250 submission fee.
Oh, I found out it's $250 publication fee.
Oh,
Yeah.
publication.
So once
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I figured it out. It was not submission.
accepted, then I'll pay. Don't worry.
We didn't know how that works.
You're wondering where to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
money from.
Yeah, that's cheaper. 250 is really cheap. It's usually 2,500
Oh my gosh.
acceptance fee there. Yeah. So just FYI, if because to download the paper, if you are not part of the institution, you have to pay to download. But open access journal, they charge the um, authors. They make money that way, so that it could be free download for everybody. And in that case, the journal's impact factor goes up higher because it's cheap or free. You download more because not everybody's affiliated with. Because you guys as students, residents, always are accessing journal through the school, and you don't have to pay for it. It's part of your tuition.
Mm.
But once you're not affiliated, you have to pay to download. So cool. Anything else? I think you've done a good job.
Nothing else. I think we're just ready to submit whenever. We'll update the changes you made and then maybe send it to you through email on time. And then once you give us a green light, we could just go ahead and submit it.
Yeah, yeah. Don't wait for me. Just I'll look into it. Email me though and text me after you did it. But still submit. It's okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So finally, right?
Yeah,
So
finally.
where was the abstract submitted? This one.
JCO, I think, or ASCO, sorry, ASCO.
Yeah, so
ASCO last year, May,
Mhm.
June. Yeah, yeah. So it
Yeah,
took more than half years. Well,
it
yeah,
took like 1.5. Yeah.
to get it published, or what if we get accepted. So yeah. So writing a manuscript is not easy. Abstract, well, it's good, nice start, but
Very different.
yeah. So we are gonna have a couple more projects panning out from it, and um Grace, Emma took the lead on the non-lung version, and Grace is taking the lead for the lung experimental targets now. That was FDA approved targets. So we're gonna look at the um lung FDA approved targets, and the next one's gonna be non-lung FDA approved, non-lung non-FDA approved, lung non-FDA approved targets. So yeah, but yeah, you guys are welcome to help them as much as you need, but uh yeah, I know you guys are doing other things. So all
We could
right,
always
good.
reach out
Let's
to
move
publishing.
on. Thank you, Eugene and Samantha.
Thank you, Dr.
Um,
yep, thank you.
thank you. Well, Samantha, you do you have any other updates on the things you were working
Yeah,
on?
not other than what I'd already texted you about with the pathology side de-identification. We're still waiting for Dr. Cooper to get back to us. Is that right?
Right. He
Okay.
said give me 2 days, and
Yeah.
it's past 2 days, right?
2 business days, maybe.
Right. Yeah, I CC'd all you guys, so he
Yeah.
hasn't gotten back to us. So that's why, yeah. So all right. So that's that. And Sam, were you also gonna look into anything else, or was that it?
So I'm starting peds next week, and then I'm taking step 2, I think
Oh,
3 weeks
step two.
later. So maybe after that, I'll pick up another
Yeah,
project.
of course. You need to finish that first.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. After that, yeah, you can get back and we'll discuss where the AI projects are, and you can start from there.
Yeah, I can work on the AI project on the side. I guess just picking up a whole new project would probably be a little unrealistic right now.
Yeah, yeah. So radiomics and pathomics are kind of moving, and as we gather more data, I think we can all analyze it together and write
Yeah,
manuscript together.
that
Yeah,
sounds good.
sounds good. Good. Liam, while we're on it, update us where we are with the identification process.
Right. So Dr. Liesel and I, we were working on it. Dr. Liesel was able to run the program that was provided to us by Lunitz from South Korea. And she successfully processed all of the data that we have, which were a total of 40 slides from 20 patients, I believe. And we've uploaded them to the box folder that Lunitz has provided us with. And now Dr. Liesel is in the process of gathering the patient data that Lunitz is requiring for them to process and analyze. And we've set an internal deadline of this Wednesday to send over the patient data.
Are they okay with that? Are we still okay?
Yes, so Dr. Liesel said we would be able to send it over by Wednesday afternoon, and they said Wednesday should be good.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
Because I think they're aiming for ASCO deadline,
Mm-hmm.
and they need time to analyze the whole
I know,
set,
but
right?
yes.
Okay.
They said Wednesday should be fine, and there's a lot of data that Dr. Liesel needs to gather for them, so it's going to take some time.
Okay.
But yeah.
So maybe you and Dr. Iso can make SOP for, this won't be the first time. We'll probably have to do similar the identification process. Yeah. So make an SOP so that people can do it later, following the instruction. But great job. I mean, yeah, it's a big troubleshoot.
It was.
Yeah, but I'm glad the Lunit team really helped us. For you guys, just to explain to all of you, we scanned H&E slide. Every pathology sample, you need to make H&E slide and look under the microscope, and we make most of diagnosis based on looking at the path slide. But then we're using AI to analyze the image of the slide. So we make a slide, but when we need to analyze the data, we have to de-identify everything, and we can't manually erase it, with the graphic program. So there's a program to de-identify all the patient identifiers listed in the slide, and then generate clip. And so Liam, can you explain how they generated like the new numbers for slides, and how you link what is your plan to link that with each patient survival data?
So when it comes to how the files were saved, that was Dr. Liesel, so I'm not sure if I can provide you with the most accurate answer. In terms of the data, they've just requested the patient data to be organized in like an Excel file and be sent over. And so she's working on that right now.
So make sure the patient name, date of birth, all these things are out, and make sure it's linked to each image. Like
in the Excel sheet?
Yeah, in the Excel sheet.
Okay.
Because we can't send them any patient identifiers.
Right.
But slide number 1 should be the same patient slide, patient number 1, like that's the only way.
Yeah. I'm just going over the list of information that they requested, and yes, none of the patient identifiers are there. The only, like other than their clinical pathological information, the only other things they're requesting is like the age of the patient and the gender. So I think we're good.
Yeah, that's fine. Great. All right, we're moving on. Since you are on, any other updates, Liam?
So we can discuss the pacemakers abstracts.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were able to finalize both abstracts A and B. We've done our proofreading, and we've sent it out to Dr. Singhi as well for her feedback, and we're awaiting that. But we're pretty comfortable with the drafts that we have, so we wanted to share that with you guys, so you guys can have a look and provide us with any feedback. Grace, do you want to go first with abstract A?
I'll send the link in the chat, Dr. Chae. Yeah, this is the first version that I talked about last week that focuses more on healthcare professionals and burnout. Yeah, if you could just read it through. It's just all the first page.
Okay. Trip. Screen share. All right, you guys see it? Okay, preventing healthcare professional burnout in oncology. How creative encouragement can go both ways. Well, I guess both mean patient and healthcare professionals. both ways?
Yeah, I guess the whole theme was that like even if you're encouraging patients, like it's not just the patients who get encouraged by it, it also helps healthcare professionals, which then overall leads to prevention of burnout.
Yeah. No, I like it. I guess when you say both ways, people will automatically know. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's catchy enough as a title. Okay, and who's going to be the author for this one?
Um, I guess it's me, Dr. Liam, Dr. Sini, and you also mentioned that you wanted part of your team to be included as authors in the submission. So we also like wanted to get that list from you as well.
Oh yeah. Yes. Grace, why don't you stay right after this Zoom meeting and I will go over each one with you. Okay, let's do that. Introduction. Yeah, I mean we went through we went through this last meeting, but what were the updates you've added?
So for the intro, we changed like the last two sentences.
Mhm.
And then for the methods, oh, we added the pacemakers initiative to it, kind of like name
Yeah,
dropped
I
it,
like
but
it.
didn't go too much into it.
Yeah, no, this is good enough.
Also, is it okay to say this division at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, or like is the organization name like different? We assume since it's like talking about the care team, like it would be okay to just call it the Northwestern Memorial Hospital rather than the overall Northwestern Medicine.
Because they're all cancer, it's better to use at the Robert H. Lurie Comprehensive Cancer Center of Northwestern University. That's the official name.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, you'll see in my email signature or somewhere. The official title is Robert H. Lurie Comprehensive Cancer Center of Northwestern University.
Of Northwestern University. Okay. I will
Yeah.
change that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So that
at the
was
Lurie Cancer Center. At the Lurie
okay. At
Cancer
the
Center. That's how at the Lurie Cancer Center. Yeah.
results, nothing was really changed, I don't think. And then the discussion conclusion. I don't know if this was here last time we presented. But
Inspire mutual encouragement, ultimately prevent healthcare professional burnout, calmly observe and practice of college. So in the result, was there any room for numbers? Like how many times that was mentioned? What was the percentage of that theme coming up? Or like any quantitative aspects?
I guess we could add that. I just think like the abstract that we kind of like there was a paper we kind of modeled this off of didn't really go into quantitative detail in their
I see.
abstract, which is why, but I guess technically we could, right, Dr. Lee?
Yeah, I agree. But it also seemed like most of the qualitative abstracts don't really go into the numbers except for maybe the number of participants.
Really? Okay. I mean, if you think that's fine for the abstract level, I'm okay. I mean, if you have to put the number in, what comes to your mind, Grace? Like what can be added? Like the most commonly brought up. Well, we're already focusing on burnout, so I guess.
Yeah, like I guess some themes that were mentioned multiple times, like like in that sentence where I say like, for example, if many describe the experience as motivating or inspiring, since those are like the keywords or the codes, like how many out of 24 essays mention that? I guess we could go into that kind of detail.
I guess it wouldn't hurt to say, what do you mean by many? Like how many out of how many here in, you know, in the parenthesis or something. I guess we're so used to proportion.
Okay, we could go back and try to add those in for each of the key codes.
Yeah, let's add them. I feel like some of the reviewers may be entertained by having some numbers. Because won't be psychologists. Some of them would be just like flat physicians like me, and they're so used to numbers. So. Okay, and no role for table or figures for ESCO. This one.
You can add one table, but character count is limited to 2,600, including the title and the table and the full abstract.
Okay, but I guess for not many numbers required for this qualitative. So.
Yeah, we didn't find it really necessary.
Okay. And as I told you last time, just for the actual manuscript, maybe look into like, you know, word network figures or something. Yeah. Okay, this one's good. I like the wordings and everything. So.
Thank you.
Here, you have a separate link for the next one?
Yeah, I think Dr. Liam can send that, or I can also send it.
Okay, whoever.
I got it.
Okay, let me show that one. Okay. Symbiosis of healthcare professionals and patients. Understanding the dynamic of long-term care relationships between healthcare professionals and patients. Yeah, so tell me what updates you've made.
So last time we presented this was a very rough draft. And so we were able to flesh out the results and conclusion part. But then the overall kind of direction is basically the same. It's more of a overall overview of important factors that influence these long-term care relationships. So the main themes here that we were looking at was like support networks, solidarity, resilience, compassion, little things meaning much for patients. Also talking about how healthcare professionals also had a renewed sense of purpose through these creative encounters with the patients and their caregivers. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so we again here we were able to mention the pacemakers in the methods section, and obviously we'll go. Oh, Grace has already changed the Northwestern University name there. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm. So did you italicize because you want to emphasize, or?
No, so the italicized words are the themes that we identified.
Oh.
Yeah, and we just did this because the other qualitative papers that we modeled after had a tendency to italicize words to indicate that these are the themes and the codes that they were using and they found. And we thought it was an effective way of doing so because, yeah.
Do you want to mention that in methods? Or because some people would not understand what.
Yeah, I mean, we can throw in a parentheses next to like theme saying italicized.
Yeah, maybe add that
Yeah.
theme words. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Grace, you just for uniformity, you could do that too. The words
Okay,
that
yeah.
reflect preventing physician burnouts. Those themes are italicized. Yeah, renewed sense of purpose was a big thing. So I can testify that some of, even my pharmacists, because they're used to just checking all the medications, looking for drug interactions, and they usually get to meet patient only when they start chemo, just to go over like drug interactions and pre-medication teaching, things like that. And they don't really get involved like in the whole care process, but then just being part of the award ceremony team, they get to see them and they get to, wow, this is the drug that I prescribed and they're doing well with it. And so I remember one of my pharmacists, actually from Hawaii, told me that it really gave her renewed sense of purpose. So that was unexpected. That wasn't why we were doing what we were doing, right? So, but then this is really important. Trust. Would you say this is academical term? Sacred. I like it. I mean.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but I even when I was when I was writing, I felt like I went a little bit overboard. But this was like a qualitative analysis.
Based on your expertise from undergrad.
So I mean, feel free to tell me what you thought. I was like,
no, I think this is very symbolic. I don't. Yeah. I think I know some articles use expressions like this, so they'll understand this as not like academic, but like I think it conveys the message you want to convey.
Yeah, I thought it was a qualitative, it's a
Right.
qualitative analysis, so a little bit of meaning making I thought could fly.
Yeah. So just thinking for conclusion, I mean, we're saying this is important, but also this came up because of the creative encouragement therapy. So maybe there has to be mention of how creative encouragement helped build this trust as well, because I think that part is missing. I mean, it talks about importance of trust, support, but then it doesn't talk about the encouragement piece, the active, creative, um, yeah. Maybe try to squeeze that in somewhere. I don't,
Sure. Okay.
yeah. Okay, yeah, so this is good. And I don't know, to apply the same principle as we did for the previous one, maybe the theme, one or two, just, how often those theme words came up could be how many out of how many percent, but this might be difficult. But maybe the theme words have come up, at least one of the theme words have come up in how many out of how many essays or something, that those could be at least mentioned.
Mm.
Yeah. Because we have 24 essays and people would be interested to know, is it all mentioned in 24 and things like that. Or if not, how, what was the proportion?
Mm. Do you think that's best for the abstract level, or do you think it'll be better suited for the actual manuscript if we get there?
I think manuscript is fine. My worries, I mean, this is going to social science
Yeah.
reviewer, it's fine. It goes to physicians who are used to natural science view. I think they want to know some, like, okay,
Sure.
N is 24, so how many, like, percent?
Mhm.
I think they want to know primitive proportion statistics.
Okay, we can take a look into that.
Okay, and then once you add that, you can submit. Yeah, don't wait for me to. It's just so minor. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, when's the deadline?
This is the 15th, which is next Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Next Tuesday. So exactly a week. So don't try to submit on the day of
Oh, of course. We're planning on submitting it at least by the weekend.
weekend. Yeah. So I've seen like server, had a problem, couldn't submit, and last minute, I don't know, some things happen, like if you try to do it on the day of.
Okay.
Okay, any questions on and then, try to look. So I suggest all of you who's submitting, go into the ASCO abstract submission page and finalize with me, like, what are the categories you're going to use to submit. Because sometimes it's not so clear. If it's clear, you don't have to ask me, okay? You don't have to ask me by default. Like, only when it's unclear, you can ask me, but don't try to ask me a few hours before the deadline, right? That's why. Okay. Yeah,
Just
I
a
think
quick
that's good.
question, Dr. Chae. I think this discussion might be useful for everybody else. That's fine. So with the ASCO abstracts applications, we noticed that there is a application fee of $60.
Hmm.
How do you normally proceed with these fees?
So, where's that? You can reach out to Leslie, my assistants, and she can pay it with my credit card. And then you guys print out the receipt and submit it to her. That way it can be, it can, you know, it could go under my research funds. So when you're ready to submit, just, I would suggest call her, email her, and can you call me at this number? I want to pay. Dr. Chae told me. Dr. Chae is the corresponding author, and and she's done it many times, so she won't like question you or think it's scam or anything. Just email her first. This is the abstract I'm submitting, and abstract submission fee. I want your help to get Dr. Chae's credit card number. But don't. I don't want you to communicate through email or don't write it. Talk to her so that there is no trace.
Of course.
So that's why you have to do it sooner. Like you can't do it
Yeah.
last minute. She may be
On work days.
yeah, or days off or
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Cheng.
Yeah, and if you want to save time, maybe you could talk to her and just write it in a paper memo, like my credit card information. There's a card that I use, a specific card. So
Okay.
once you have that number and the expiration date, you can
Uh-huh.
use it when you actually submit.
Right.
And I
So
heard you can submit and pay, then you can still continue to edit until the day of deadline.
that's good.
I heard that was the case. And there's so many conferences, so not sure ASCO was like that, but most of the abstract submission sites are like that. So
Okay. And then,
yeah.
so when we use the credit card information, so you want us to take a screenshot of the receipt and send that to Leslie?
What I do is print screen, and
Mhm.
you can click print screen and save, and then you can change to save as PDF,
Right.
and then send that PDF to Leslie
Okay.
along with the proof that this was your abstract was sent.
Got it.
Not just the receipt, but what to what abstract. Send two PDF to Leslie
Okay.
and CC me so that I know.
Understood.
Yeah. So maybe add that to the lab SOP for any labs. So this applies not just for ASCO, but
Yeah.
applies to every other meeting.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. I just thought it would be helpful for everybody to clarify how that works.
No problem. Okay. Anything else, Liam?
No, I believe that is all from us. Grace, any last questions, comments? All right. I think we're good. Thank you, Dr. Che, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, Grace, and updates for other projects?
Yeah, so okay, I don't know where to start. First, this is the pacemakers abstract. And then second, I wanted to ask you if you got any email reply back from New York Times.
Oh, if I got an email?
Yeah, because we entered your email last time and it's been 3 business days.
Oh, it's been 3 business days. And which email did you put Gmail
It was your
or
Gmail. It
you
was
put
your personal Gmail.
personal Gmail? Right, right. Right. And it should be from New York Times. So if you don't hear back, then was it New York Times or was
It was New York Times. Yeah, so in case you didn't hear back, I looked into what we could submit to next.
Mhm.
You mentioned the New Yorker. I looked at their guidelines, but they don't accept articles like the one that we are submitting. They're more for like satire or like some other genres.
Okay.
So I looked into Washington
Washington,
Post, and
yeah.
that one, it looks like we can submit like the 800 word version.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so I'll proceed with that after this
Yeah, because I
lab
don't
meeting.
see anything from New York Times.
Okay, sounds good. And then I'm gonna share my screen for your interview video for pacemakers.
Mhm.
So I ended up re-editing it, adding the intro and outro videos to it.
Mhm.
I kept the same thumbnail, everything. I shifted all the subtitles by however many seconds, so they're all in sync. It's unlisted for now. I tried to edit it directly on the one we already published, but it looks like I can't do that. I had to re-upload it, so we might have to delete the previous one and then just re-upload the new one.
Mhm.
I didn't know if you wanted to keep the title as like the 20 questions version or like the same as Meet Nurse Call at Chicago's Northwestern, blah, blah, blah. I changed this one to Meet Oncologist Youngongche at Chicago's Northwestern to be in parallel with the other interview. I don't know which
Oh
one.
yeah, meet. Yeah, let's go to the meet version then. Meet.
Okay, then I will just take this one down and then make this one public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so that's done in terms of the pacemakers.
And you fixed the
video.
subtitles too?
Yeah, that was
Wow.
a pain.
How long did it take you?
It wasn't too long once I sat down and got to it because I was able to just download the previous captions and then I just had to manually add 11 seconds to every single one.
Mhm.
So now I'm good at adding number 11 to any number. But yeah, so that's that. And then I also worked on, well, I didn't work a lot on it, which I feel very bad for, but the manuscript for the variant classification project. I know Emma's here, Eileen's here too.
Mhm.
Um, I I think Eileen and Emma worked on like the intro and like the background and the methods, and
Mhm.
Dr. Chu and I have been working on the results. I don't know, Emma, if you want to pick up on that.
Yeah, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically we got in touch with Dr. Chu and we had a meeting and we're writing the manuscript now. So yeah, me and Eileen work on the methods. It's pretty much done because Eileen already did a good job writing it, pretty much all of it. We just have to tweak some stuff. And then Grace and Dr. Chu are working on the results. I did meet with Dr. Chu yesterday and we have a few questions. So how we ran our analysis is we just compiled all of the variants and ran one single analysis, but that it's like the results section is really short because of it. And Dr. Chu and I were wondering if we wanted to like add any more analyses. But the problem is like we thought about stratifying based on cancer type or based on like gene, like BRCA1 or 2 or whatever. But the problem with that is some of the genes and some of the cancer types have a very small variant number. So like, let's say like one of the cancer types, I think only has like 3 variants and it's impossible to run analyses with that. Some genes also have a very few variants. So we're wondering like, we wanted your input on that.
Mm.
Maybe I was thinking, or we were thinking, like we could just pick a few cancer types or a few genes and with like a lot of variant numbers and compare that result with the overall result, or compare it to like previous manuscripts to like gain some credibility or to challenge other manuscripts. So we weren't really sure how to go about that.
Show me the list so that I can give you my input.
Um, so the list of like variants.
Yeah, the disease and variants that were used to calculate numbers.
Okay. So we don't have a table for that yet, but I can pull up my code, which should,
Yeah.
it'll take a second though.
Yeah. So basically, whatever Eugene and Samantha did,
Yeah,
try to replicate that.
because I saw that they stratified by the gene, but like like I said, we have like that problem where we don't have enough variants for some of the genes.
Mm.
Sorry, it's gonna take a second. Yeah, I'll just share my screen for a second. Hold on. I have to like load these into the program. I think this is right here. Okay, so these are like the cancer types, and then we counted like the total variants for each cancer type. So you can see here, like biliary, it only has one like variant, and then like breast has 248. So there's ovarian, but all the other ones are kind of iffy. They're like all under 100. I don't have the numbers for per gene, but I can run that too later on and see. But
So I guess breast has PIK3CA plus BRCA.
right, and ovarian is just BRCA.
BRCA,
So there's a lot of overlap between the two.
right. And colorectal is BRAF and what else?
Let's see. I think colorectal is KRAS, NRAS, BRAF, and HER2.
Okay, so colorectal. So I think you could at least do breast, colorectal, melanoma, and ovary.
Okay,
I think you could do that and then just do others.
I combine those.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think that's fine. By disease.
and then gene type, I think we're gonna have to look into.
Yeah, gene type. I would say do at least top 3 or 4. So it will be BRCA. So you could do gene type across histology. That may prevent overlapping.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think maybe make it consistent because we have 4 histology and others. You can
Right.
do top 5. gene and do the same side by side by histology, by variants, the top 5 most frequently reported variants.
Mhm.
Yeah, that will make it, you can write more.
Mr. Chu also wanted me to ask you, like, if we do like stratify by cancer type, if that result has any meaning compared to like the overall result, because he wasn't sure if the tool like makes a difference, whether like the histology like makes a difference with the results for the tools. So if it's like he wasn't sure if it was worth reporting.
Mm.
So
So you could argue that, like, colorectal, breast, ovary, there could be contrast. Like, well, BRCAs are very well predicted versus non-BRCAs are not well predicted. That means colorectal might have lower performance. So you could still comment on any trend you find,
mhm,
or you could be equally all good, or what there was a meaningful difference and there wasn't meaningful difference. There was meaningful difference, and why would there be? Can we look at each gene types and why there was? And so you can have something to write about it, no matter what.
okay, because I think what we're thinking was that like those meaningful differences could just be a result of like a smaller sample size, like statistically. So we weren't sure how to like balance that bias.
Yeah, but that's how we define the group, the FDA approved,
Hmm.
or FDA, or did we say NCCN, or did
Uh,
we just
uh,
FDA? Or
FDA approved in NCCN. Yeah,
both,
right.
right? FDA and NCCN both. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the sample that's because we defined it that way. And in that group, what we find is what we report. And it's not like there's more mutation and we're missing it. It's like we got all we need.
Uh-huh.
So it's still meaningful to describe the trend in the overall population. It's not like you have a sample population with within overall population. Then small sample size, meaning risk of running into high error rate, random error rate.
Right.
But this is overall population. This is not a sample. So whatever you find is worth describing. Yeah,
Okay.
and don't have to blame small numbers for this, because this is the overall population is small.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. Yeah, so now you have Eugene's paper. You have the link, so go over it and use that as your, raw raw model paper. And you can paraphrase any expressions and use that to customize your own discussion. It'll be much easier. And
Mhm.
then cite Eugene's last year's ASCO abstract.
Okay.
And in your discussion, describe how the numbers are different in your result versus Eugene's lung result.
Okay.
That's important discussion. And you could say our group have reported, lung cancer results before, and there we present in the cite the numbers. There we presented the MCC value of this and that, and you can also mention that the number of targets in lung versus non-lung are 30% versus 70% of the whole solid tumor. You can describe that, and the accuracies are same or different, or
Okay.
good. So I think you guys are getting there. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. All right, going back to Grace. So Grace, did you meet with others about the lung project you're leading?
Yeah, so Eileen and Lena and I have been meeting separately. I still have to finish a search on the targets before we go into the analysis. And I've been feeling a little stretched than these days, so I haven't been able to like actually finish that. But hopefully we'll have that done soon and we'll go into the actual analysis part of it. And I think we're meeting potentially with Dr. Pedro tomorrow. He sent out an email saying Wednesday is okay. And I think Dr. Liesel also replied to that, but like a time hasn't been set yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, try to have regular meeting with Pedro, and again, like I want him to be your mentor, your teams, so that he as a junior faculty can also contribute. And good. I mean, all these discussions are helpful for you and the team. Yeah, because a lot of them are similar, but this is a little bit deeper because now we're going into the field of experimental therapeutics where, well, there's not a therapy that's approved yet, but based on our literature search, these are the emerging targets, and we want to identify actionable variants for this target. So yeah, that's why we're doing that project. So we're aiming for, are we aiming for World Lung for this?
Yeah, you did mention World Lung. It just the
it's still
deadline is like
ambitious.
March 4th or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is very ambitious.
Right. Yes. So anyone working on lung cancer projects should aim for World Lung. So Yuno and Seungmi can still aim for World Lung. Okay. Anything else, Grace?
No, I think
Okay.
I presented everything.
Thank you. Eileen, you have an update for us?
I don't really have any like significant updates. I guess I've been meeting with Grace regarding the project, and then also like meeting with Dr. Chu and stuff. I wasn't able to attend yesterday, but I'm glad I got to see Emma or like hear from Emma about like what happened. And then with regards to the website, I added Shauna in, and then I emailed Wix but about the Instagram thing, that the problem that we were having. They haven't responded yet. So like I don't know like how to go about this. But I guess I could like try resending another email maybe. So hopefully that works. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think the problem is? It's just that link is not working for Instagram?
I'm not like I genuinely don't know. Like maybe because I know like Wix uses like different like softwares to bring in like things that the users can add into their website. And I know the Instagram thing isn't like directly affiliated with Wix, but they are responsible for like helping us with like putting it in. So I'm not sure.
Okay. We'll keep emailing them. They should.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say his
I'm like, we're paying. We're their customer.
Yeah. That is it for now.
Okay. So oh, Shauna, anything else to add?
I don't think so. I just edited the outro and sent it to Grace, and then Grace did all the hard work.
Okay. So I think we're gonna do, so for the recruitment process, I think Stats and Eugene is gonna help recruit at the Feinberg level, and GMA as well as the whole undergrad campus. Who did I ask? Maybe Grace and Emma, Eileen, you guys can help. Or Sally, talk to Sally, because I think it initially told Sally, but
Yesterday I got a text from Dr. Easer
Mm.
asking me to like film a video for her.
Mm.
So I'll get that done. I think that's also supposed to help. So if like other undergrads also want to send in a video.
yeah, like the testimonials, right? Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
So Dr. Isel is in charge of making a video and maybe a few liner to send out. So work with her, Eileen, and have Sally help recruit in the undergrad campus, and maybe Emma, you can tell Eugene to help Iser get to the Feinberg campus. So hopefully by next week we'll send out the recruiting message and have some more volunteers. But I think right now the core group is going to be Grace, Eileen, Emma, Liam, Shauna. I'm just I'm talking about the people who are in Chicago, and I'm sure our Eugene and Seungmi are our lab managers now who are helping us. So I'm sure they will help out as well. So here's the plan. So I've thought about this. So we healthcare professionals interview, and then we are going to do patient interview as well. Patient interview. The hospital is gonna do a television video for Albert Curie. So that's going to be big. Might come out in NBC or somewhere. They're interviewing me as well next week. So patient interview is big thing, but I think we're asking questions solely for the purpose of like patient-doctor relationship and how did encouragement affect your treatment journey. Okay, and it doesn't have to be long, but if we can, but I just feel like I really loved the walking interview. So if we can make it like a dynamic, that's why we have new equipment. We have 2 wireless microphones and a gimbal. So if we can apply that to patient interview as well, that would be awesome. So this is the thing. We can always interview, not always, I take that back. We can, I mean, there's no urgency in interviewing healthcare professionals, but patients can crash anytime. Like these patients who are doing well today, tomorrow can have stroke. They're under active treatment. It has a lot of toxicities, and a lot of drugs don't work forever. And I worry that these patients will have recurrence, or and their health may not afford them to have a good interview. So I'm going to prioritize patient interview first. So there are patients who are like volunteering to, like, I want to do an interview for you, Dr. Che. Anything you want to um, um, have like as a recording of my, whatever happened to me, please do so while I'm well at this time. So I think Albert Curie, as well as the another patient, and I'll tell you who, Vivian, would be a good candidate to begin with. And I think that's of priority and urgency, because I don't know if they will continue to do well in the next couple months. So I want to start with Vivian. She's actually a filmmaker. She's she is from LA, California, and she makes documentary films herself. She's PD, program director herself. She knows the industry very, very well. So she might help us. But very, very interestingly, she believes in miracles. She believes in faith-based recovery. And so many people have been praying for her, and she almost chose hospice. And then the next treatment I gave her really worked well, miraculously. All her pain went away. She couldn't do anything. She said, I want to do hospice. She has 2 daughters, one going to college next year. And she told her mom, you have to be there for me. And she said, I don't want to do anything, but I'll just do it for you. So she agreed to go on to the next treatment, which worked well, almost miraculously. So she's asymptomatic. She's living, like giving rides to her daughters and cooking and doing her work. And she told me, I want to testify for you, Dr. Chae. So I think she'll be our first. And the second will be Albert Curie, who you guys know very well, who underwent double lung transplant. So I think these 2 videos, I don't want to wait till we have a new recruitment team. So I think among you, let's divide and conquer. So I want one team. So talk amongst yourself. I know, Shauna, you can help with the editing. I know you can't be here to interview. So whoever is here, I think Sungmi and Eugene can help with recording or gimbal. And one of the undergrad can be the interviewer. And you've seen Eileen do mine and Zoe do Brooks. Whoever, I mean, you guys are all gonna rotate. So whoever wants to start, Emma, Eileen, and Grace. Just amongst you, I don't want to designate who. I don't know your schedule. So if 2 of you can volunteer for each project, the third one will be whoever didn't volunteer this time. And then whoever gets newly recruited gets the 4th and 5th, projects. So I think the pattern would be one undergrad would do the interview, and the MDs or in the lab who's available that day can help carry the gimbal for you and do the walking interview. And the interview would be, how long was my interview, Eileen or Grace? Was it 10 minutes or?
Yours was 11.
11, okay. Yeah, just average 10-minute interview, I think is good enough. So I think your job is to come up with questions, interview, record, and you can edit together with Shana or other team members. Just team up. I think it's better to work as a team. So I think the recording, because you need to, it's a hassle because both of you have to be available and you might have classes different times. So let's make a rule, like one undergrad and one MD, whoever is available in the lab to help out, can record together. But actual editing piece, you can team up with other undergrad to edit the piece together, because you got to do the subtitle and everything. And Shana, you can maybe just be there to help with the editing process with both of the projects. Yeah. Let's
Just
do
one
that.
quick question. So
Mhm.
what's the best way to reach out and contact these patients that you would like to be interviewed?
Just call them because I got permission for both of the patient. I said my students will reach out to you. Yeah.
Okay, and so will you be giving us their phone numbers then?
So you know Albert Curie, and then Vivian. You know what was her name? Vivian. I'm blinking. Do you remember her? You know?
Oh, I cannot remember her name, but I know her. But, um, thank you.
Oh, Vivian Panou. 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 And she's coming to my clinic almost every week, so you'll be able to find her. Albert Curie is coming to my clinic every 3 months, so you have to go back to find him. He's not on any active treatment. So just call him. There's a phone number in Epic. So Liam, you should just be in charge to make sure this is being carried out. So I wanna just let's see. Maybe Grace and Eileen, do you want to talk to other undergrads and figure out who wants to do it, or do you feel like you guys want to volunteer first?
I think right now I don't have the capacity to,
Yeah,
so
I
I'll
can see
join
that.
for the next one.
Yeah, Eileen, can you interview?
Yeah, what is like the timeline that you want like this done though?
So I think 1 month is 4 weeks time to interview and edit.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no
Let's start
like 4 weeks.
developing questions that we can ask like during the interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dr. Chick, could you spell Vivian's last name one more time?
Panou.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So maybe Eileen and can pair up with Shana and edit together. And then Liam asked Emma if she can interview. And then maybe Shana, you can help as well for the editing piece. Just do it together. So that would be the first 2 patients. And that will be simultaneous 2 teams working, with the time frame of 4 weeks. And 10-minute clip, walking interview, the microphone and the gimbals in my lab. Because they're patients, you don't have to wait till they come to the hospital. You can even, decide to meet in the park, meet at the Millennium Park, if they live close to Evanston, you can walk the Evanston campus together. They'll be open to anything. It doesn't have to be hospital. But choose a date where it's walkable outside or somewhere inside the building where you can walk. Yeah. So let's do those 2 as the first patient interview process. Liam, were you able to try to get your interview done?
No, so because Sally wasn't able to make it because her flight got canceled due to weather conditions.
Oh,
We haven't been able to, but we're going to test drive everything this Friday when she comes in.
okay. Oh, so she's still in San Francisco?
No, she just came back yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her flight got canceled twice because of the winter storm.
Oh, okay.
So she barely made it.
Okay. So we have a grapevine ministry interview project as well, but that's not part of this lab meeting, so I won't discuss it here. But um, I think interview is a really good way to convey our message. So we're gonna continue to do this. Okay. All right. That's it for the pacemakers. You, Dr. Yuno, now you're in Korea as
Yes.
as me.
Yes, I'm in Korea. Yes. Dr. Liam gathered the new data, so I want to share. I want to share ASCO abstract. Yes. I added the NGS data, Veristrat, TMB, MSI, and HLA1 heterogeneity, and I added overall survivor and PFS also, and and Dr. Liam gathered hemoglobin and albumin and LDH data, but they were not significantly associated, but I described it.
Mm,
I tried to rephrase, but not all, but I tried. Yeah.
okay.
It is my title, but I wanted to add some information about NGS and very straight data because it is very new, but I was not able to put smoothly. So
Mm,
it was AACR title. And
but you have to change it.
yeah, yes. So I wanted to add that NGS and very straight information in the title. So I don't know. So,
Yeah, let's get back to the title. We should change it. So in the background, you have to add proteomics here as well.
proteomics. Okay. Yes.
So I guess here you have to at least say you looked at biomarkers that correlated with a, and then you gathered clinical pathologic data or something that's missing.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Is this number same as AACR?
Oh no, I didn't add the overall survivor and PFS data in AACR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is new. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. So when you just say Veristrat, no one's going to understand unless you do thoracic medical oncology. So you have to say, I wouldn't even use the word Veristrat here. I would say serum proteomic signature was classified as good risk versus poor risk. And in parentheses, you can put Veristrat, comma, biodesics in Boulder, Colorado, or something, wherever they are
In
headquartered.
method. In method.
In method, yeah.
In method.
In method. Then you can say also with proteomic associated with. So you can't say associated with very straight. You have to say associated with the poor risk in proteomic signature or something.
Okay.
So it's not ECOG. ECOG is the name of the association. It's the high performance status.
Okay.
And I don't use the word ECOG. Use ZUBROD. 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 Presence performance. I would say it was not associated with subhistologies of non-small cell lung cancer. Are you running short on words, number of words, or is
I'm not sure. I didn't put
you didn't
that.
count the numbers? This is
Yeah.
pretty long. So
Yeah.
if you ever have count numbers, then you can take this out if you need more.
Okay, I think so. It is 2600 word count. So I think that it is too long.
Why did you put multivariate results here?
Yeah, okay, tomorrow Dr. Horyun finished his busy rotation, so tomorrow I can work the multivariate result. Not yet, I didn't do that. But can I put the multivariate result in that or not? Only manuscript. I don't need to.
I would say multivariate is important, and whatever Horyun can do, I know because of the sample size, wouldn't make sense to do too many at the same time. But if you can, you could do so this is how you put it, like when controlling for, or when adjusting for this and that, this variable was still associated with outcome, hyperprogression, and you can put multivariate overall or odds ratio of something. Okay. Adjusted OR, or you can put adjusted OR.
Okay.
But you have to say what you controlled for. What are the multivariates that were used together? And just say this and that were still statistically significant or was still associated. Okay, you can write that. So if you need more space, you can take out the 95% interval.
Okay.
From the abstract. For the actual paper, you can leave it, actual manuscript, but for the abstract, you can take it out so you have more room.
Okay. In ASCO guideline, they suggest biostatistic guidelines, so it is very strict. But I asked it to Dr. Ine, but she didn't consider it, but he accepted. She accepted. So the guidelines suggest reliability, something very many limited suggestions. So
Yeah.
in there they required 95% CI.
Yeah. One way to do it is the first time you put like 95% CI and 1.38 dash 4.13. This way, this will count as one word. And then from there on, let's say here, you just put in parentheses, and it doesn't have, you don't have to write 95% because it was written prior, and this is it. This is enough to present your data. That kind of saves a lot of space. Okay. And you have to be uniform here, consistent. I will just put 2, and this is less than 0.01. So just this is like 0.07. So just 2 digits for everything, so that it doesn't have to be too long. Okay. So here n equals 33. I would put 33 out of 203 here, just make sure people, and that's still very meaningful. I would just put 16% here again. So I would emphasize this first. This is the art of writing. Like, you have to emphasize the very first thing you found. Emphasize that first. This, we here for the first, we here for the first time report that proteomic signature, serum proteomic signature is correlated with hyperprogression. Okay.
How about HLA1? It is not correlated, but I wanted to describe it. And so do I need to do that or not?
So most prior literature have linked HLA heterozygosity to be a predictor of hyperprogression.
No, we analyzed it before Dr. Dongyop and other researchers found out that it can predict the immunotherapy survivor or something treatment effect, but it is not for hyperprogression. So this is a real first.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand it's first, but I think if it's not correlated, it's not a big news to the group.
Okay.
So I would not. And then TTF1 just means adenocarcinoma highly expresses TTF1, but then the actual subgroup didn't show difference. So I wouldn't mention it here. So highlight proteomic signature first, then highlight the NLR and platelet count. What's also predictor. So say we found when well, I guess the multivariate analysis result matters too for the conclusion. But the sequence would be, I would highlight proteomics, and then there are other variables that were confirmed to be predictive of hyperprogression. Here you're saying suggestive of immunosuppressive environment, but that's our speculation. That's not what we derived from our research.
Yes.
So I think you don't have to write speculation. I know there are papers suggesting it, but it's not coming from our results. And then you can say incidence is consistent at the third sentence. And then you don't have to write TTF1 HL8. And then analyze recent emerging. Well, I guess other papers used NGS as well, right?
Yes.
So I guess when we say, you could say mass spec based serum proteomic signature was associated with higher incidence of HPD. In the first paragraph, so you don't have to write this. You don't have to write this. Validating risk factors and exploring their associated mechanisms are warranted. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, you're almost there. So I know this one I need to look, right? So maybe there's Dr. Eugene and Seungmi in the lab. The thing is, I won't be back to lab until Monday, and that's too late. So just text me directly, okay? That's how we're gonna work, because we don't have much time.
Okay.
So,
after I revised.
After you
then
revise, because
okay.
you and I are both in Korea.
Okay.
After you revise and you email me and text me through Messenger, I will look at it and I'll give you feedback, or I'll just call you because you're in Korea. And we'll just chat because we don't have time till our next meeting.
Okay.
And clarify the authors. Who's going to be the authors?
Me and Dr. Liam and Korean and Liesel and Gina and
Any undergrad helping?
not this abstract, but Grace and Shauna is helping the manuscript.
For the manuscript of this project,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So you can add them because they will be
Okay.
helping.
Okay. How about Chiu, so Dr. Chiu and Dr. Hyunsun?
Oh yeah, because they define the HPD, right?
HPD. Yeah. They established raw data. So
Yeah. So add them.
okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
thank you.
Thank you. Good job. So work on the manuscript, okay? Abstract is this much hard, right? But manuscript can take more than half a year. And you know how hot the hyperprogression field is, right?
Yes, yes,
Like you will have many more papers that come out, and you won't be the first to report these anymore. So
yes.
it's a race. So
I will
you
finish
have to prioritize.
until this month.
And
hopefully.
any update on the Gina's case? Is it
Yeah,
ready to submit?
yeah. They almost revised and they want to finalize next week, but they want to show. They want to check the manuscript. Yes, I will share. They didn't finalize the information about the CMAT mutation because they searched a lot of articles, but there's no any more information. So they are doing on it, and the graph you talked about it. It is my part, but not yet. I couldn't do it, so I will finalize until next week.
Okay. Atypical. Atypical EGFR mutation subtypes. Or you could say EGFR mutated. Let's make it shorter. Yeah, this is shorter. And everyone knows these are atypical. So when we say it's X, do we know which one? You know? So ask Gina and Horyun, because when we say X, it could be, you know, A or other alphabets. But for this berry patient, what was it? Okay. Oh, here, A. Right? I'll put A. Rather than X. I know it could be true for others, but. So do you know what they updated? Did they highlight?
Actually, I don't know, but mm, they have in trouble to revise third paragraph of the discussion.
Third paragraph, okay. So when you revise, always highlight or track changes. So I know what you guys have changed based on my input. Okay. People who does not know what lazertinib, but you can say put comma a third generation EGFR tyrosine kinase inhibitor here so that you can explain what it is. So this is awfully wrong, long sentence. Decreased since lesion on event monotherapy in the present cases is a new observation not reported before. Given the fact that our patient was off osimertinib, proved to have that he was on event monotherapy. So very hard to read. I understand what the author is trying to convey. So this off osimertinib proved to have good CNS penetration, and that he was on them. So the rule number one: always make your sentence very short. One idea in one sentence. So in this case, so this is the gist of it. The patient was off osimertinib that was working on CNS disease. And patient started amivantamab monotherapy and has shown a good response in CNS lesions. Therefore, this is the first to report CNS activity of amivantamab monotherapy. In clinic or in real world or something. It hasn't been, and to the best of our knowledge, it has not been reported. The CNS activity, a meaningful or any meaningful CNS activity of amivantamab monotherapy has not been reported. Period. It could be written this way, like a few sentences, shorter version. So work on that.
Yes. Next week, Dr. Horin is okay to participate in this meeting, so he want to be confirmed at that time.
Yeah. Make him edit and represent.
Okay.
He can watch this video. So.
Okay.
Moreover, majority of trials excluded because trials already happened, or exclude, or you can say majority of trials have excluded or excluding. It's happening at the same time. Some trials are ongoing. So trials that's done, you have to say they have excluded. Trials that are ongoing are still excluding. So I'm looking at the logic. So this is exon 20. This is combination data. This is CNS. And moreover, and here, it doesn't talk about our case. It talks about what other trials are doing. So in a lot of scientific writing, people like to write in sequence, like first, second, third, and last but not least. So I think we can follow that format here. So here, you talk about the history. This drug has been approved for exon 20. This is the data. And for common mutation, these are the ongoing trials that are exploring the value of this drug in the common mutations. So here is the atypical. So I would say, so there's many different ways to write, but always, not always, but it's better to write the main idea sentence up front. So I would say, well, this is how the drug got approved. I would say there are 3 or 4, whichever ends up to be 4 lessons we can learn from this case. Number 1, amivantamab monotherapy can work in rare EGFR subtype mutations, period. It has never been reported before, period. And this is what's happening. People are looking at traditional mutations with combination. So our case is unique because we've for the first time looked at rare mutation, and it worked, and the monotherapy worked, not the combination. So you can kind of describe that background in the following sentence after the main idea. So that should be the new structure of the second paragraph. Third is same thing. Another interesting dimension to the predictive was, I just say second. Our case showed CNS activity involving both leptomeningeal and parenchymal disease with amivantamab monotherapy. And this has never been reported. And in fact, that's contrary to what we have thought, because we think the high molecular weight monoclonal antibody would not penetrate brain barrier very well. And then you can describe what's happening in the field, okay? And I would go far as to say, because this is CNS, you don't talk about the leptomeningeal here. So I would say first CNS activity that was seen with monotherapy. the second. I would say third, this is a case that showed that even leptomeningeal disease showed improvement that actually led to clinical improvement. Patient was actually able to walk, feel stronger, walking less wobbly, and really in the in many trials, they're not even looking at this population because they think this population is not worthy of exploring the activity. So we're saying, hey, let's still include these patients for the first time. So this is radical, okay? So we could put that as a separate point. Take out the leptomeningeal portion here, just say CNS. And then here, another point for leptomeningeal. The third point. And this is uncommon. So I would move uncommon to up here to uncommon. Because you said here, rare mutation, and the rare mutation comes up here. So to be consistent, this has to be included in the first point. So this all talks about whether uncommon mutations are targetable with small molecule TKIs. I'm just trying to think if this is actually needed. Um, um, so I understand these two extremely uncommon. Yeah, I think it's okay to leave it, but it's just a little bit out of proportion. Like, yeah, it could be a lot shorter, but if you don't have the word limit, I'm okay with leaving it for now. But if people talk about make it more concise, this is the part that has to be shortened. So this, I've said leptomeningeal is the third and maybe the fourth. The fourth lesson is, although rare, it is possible to have two rare EGFR mutation happening at the same time and still show response to therapy. Because you have so many lessons here, so many unique things about this. Usually a K report has one unique thing. This has so many.
Yes.
even if the coexistence of could be a possibility of different tumor clone respond here in this case, in our case, could indicate that the tumor cells may have low tumor heterogeneity with similar cells. I don't trying to see if this sentence makes sense. Similar cellular properties. I mean, it's not the best expression, but I think we can leave it. So design. Yeah. So this is not a lesson. This is like speculation on mechanism of action. So it's fine to leave it. Distinct. You can say first case. Being low frequent mutations. I would say CNS metastasis, including leptomeningeal disease, are warranted. That's good. Okay, so it's just the table. Yeah, look at this lesion. Look at the shrinkage. I think I would say best response of 47.6%. I would add that number in the manuscript, unless it was already added. Was it?
It was not mentioned best, but
Oh, here.
they described it.
Oh,
They
here.
didn't mention best, but yes.
Is there a graph?
Oh yeah, you mentioned graph, three different graph, but it was my job, but I couldn't do it, but I will do. But Dr. Gina said that a third graph is not that meaningful because it is almost same. So.
What do you mean third graph?
Last 3AF, the two are 25% to 0%. It is vanished. So Dr. Gina want to ask, is it meaningful? Because it is almost the same. And also long legend image is not long window, so we want to receive new long window image from Dr. Liam. We want to ask for it to him.
Yeah, so you could make it same window.
Yes.
As long as it's same, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
For instance, A1 and 2 are different, but you could do both long window or both non-long soft tissue window. Yeah, there's 2 different windows for every CT scan. So use it. If you have to make it, you can press 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers and it will convert to long or non-long in the Epic. That's the way, that's a short key. So work with Liam
Yes.
to get those images and make graphs. And it doesn't matter, second and third time, there's not a meaningful difference.
Yes, it is almost collapsed.
Almost same.
Yeah, almost the same. So
Okay. Because it's all,
same
if it's
trend.
almost same, you can just compare 2 time points for the figures, for the actual CT scan figures, images, CT images. But other biomarkers, you could do the 3 time points.
Okay, but biomarker is same maybe, not long.
But here you have 96 and 73. It's different. So let's do this. Let's resist sum.
Yeah, but they talk about VAF mutation. So Dr. Gina says that VAF mutation trend is almost the same from 2 to 3. So I will check. Okay. Yeah, I was not able to fully understand. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. For image and the biomarker, I want it to be more all consistent. Let's do, because people want to know, is it a transient good response and it's going to grow back again? So showing stability after the second scan is still meaningful, whether it's biomarker, whether it's actual CT image. And the RECIST score actually decreased from 96 to 73.
Yes, yes.
So I want off-time 3 points for CT image as well as biomarker. So everything would be 3 time points.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, let's just do that to be consistent. All right. Anything else,
Dr. Horton said that he cannot find CMAT mutation information, but he will add that information until next week.
CMAT mutation information. So CMAT, it's CMAT.
Actually, I didn't understand the context about CMAT mutation, but you mentioned CMAT mutation information.
Yeah, so there has to be a paragraph about CMAT. So let me tell you why. So first of all, our patient probably has Gardent and Tempus, and we don't have the results. Do we?
CMAT.
No. So that has to be listed here. Because you rarely find just these two. There's gotta be a coexisting mutations. So we need to know what they are. So what are the coexisting mutations? And what are the liquid biopsy finding? And what are the tissue-based NGS? Usually that's Tempus. So you have to explain all, describe it all. And I would, if there's too many, you can do a supplemental table and list them and their VAFs all there. Okay. And then if there's anything about CMET, and then you describe, if there's nothing, you say there was nothing about CMET. There was no high expression or or mutation about CMET in our case from tissue nor from circulating tumor DNA from blood. I would say, and that's important because amivantamab targets CMET as well, not just EGFR. And if you look at Tempus, you go to the Tempus portal, you'll see RNA report, RNA. So you'll see what's overexpressed, what's underexpressed, loss of expression.
Yes.
You should report that as well, all the experimental. Now, a discussion about CMET is that in lazertinib plus amivantamab study, which was carried by a faculty at Yonsei
Yes.
University, Dr. Cho, he reported that the combination worked better if patient had higher expression of CMET. And you can Google that. Cho Byung-chul is his name.
Yes, you showed that information last
Yeah,
time.
so
Yeah.
briefly discuss that and say, we looked into our case whether there was anything about CMAP, but there wasn't.
Yes. I
Okay,
got it.
that's
I got
missing.
it. Yes, I got it.
But the Tempest and whole garden data, the co-mutation, those are missing here.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
That's it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
So very, very good case. This actually deserves like oral presentation. Like remember what Dr. Isu did?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
remember.
that's the way to get that is not through the conference itself, but this is a medical education company which finds in a really meaningful oral presentation or posters, and her one was selected. So that was her report presentation was recorded and sent out to every single oncologist in the US. Okay, so I think this case is even more important than the case Dr. Iser presented. So if we delay in presenting it, someone else will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that next week
Okay.
they will finish it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Seungmi, do you have any updates?
So you gave me the task of seeing how ctDNA monitoring in lung cancer patients. It's and how it's associated with minimal residual disease. So what I did was who underwent curative treatments. So what I did was I did read some of the papers you recommended to get a good idea of what ctDNR is and like how it's being used to see recurrent disease or to see and stuff. So I'm just getting a good idea of by reading literature out there. So I set myself a goal of writing a rough draft of an abstract by next lab meeting. So that would be my goal. And I'll just continue reading literature and study for it. So unfortunately, I don't have anything to show you that I wrote today. I just have stuff that I've read and highlighted. So.
Sure. Now start summarizing the data that you have, and start with the to find out who are the patient who underwent curative treatment, and by definition they are concurrent chemoradiation people plus surgery, and usually they would be on every 3 months repeat ctDNA tests, and some of them will have pre-treatment, pre-surgery, some of them won't, and whether post-surgery is positive or not, just look at the proportion of them, and whatever landscape you find, you can still report it, and you'll still aim for the world lung of that general statistics, okay?
Yeah, I did look at the Excel, but so I know what you're saying, but I do feel like I need someone who I could ask for like the details, like, so I don't want to bother you with like these things. So do you have someone who I could ask who has experience in doing this kind of research, or should I just look at other research papers myself to get an idea of what other people did?
So Dr. Easer should know a lot about the ctDNA and clinical correlation. So she'll be the best person to ask a question.
Yeah.
Maybe Dr. Jewell wrote a paper about the ctDNA, maybe.
Yeah, Dr. Joel Park can also help you.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I just remembered that, there's another patient who volunteered to do interview. He's Paul Sean, who had the brain metastasis.
Oh yeah, were you in the room together?
Yeah, on Friday. Oh,
Yeah.
Thursday.
So he's the third one on the list. Maybe we'll assign someone else other than Grace. Maybe Sally can do it. Yeah, maybe
Okay.
Sally can do it.
Yeah,
Liam, let's assign this patient to Sally, and Shauna, you can work with Sally about the third patient because you know her well. And this Seungmi, you can give Liam his full name so that. And we got permission. I told him my student will reach out to you. Remember that? So we got his permission too.
I'm in the lab all the time this week, so I could do I could help out with anyone who's doing the interview. So.
Yeah. So he was actually on the news, NBC or something. Like he testified, about his recovery. So he presented with seizure, could not walk because of the brain tumor from lung cancer spread. So he got that resected, and he underwent combination chemoimmunotherapy. He had terrible side effect with immunotherapy, so he's just on chemo, and he's getting chemo every 5 weeks, and it's still working well. This is an amazing story, and he's a employee of Northwestern Hospital in risk management, and every Christmas he would at the first floor of the hospital he would sing carol as part of the employee choir. Always wears like Santa Claus hat, and it was such a joy to see him sing all the time. We had a patient's night event, and he brought all his choir and sang also there. So it's such a joy to have a patient like that. And yeah, I mean, that's what makes oncology so rewarding, that there are these people. And but even him, I worry that his tumor might grow someday. Okay. It's not like everything is gone, you're cured. We are walking on thin ice. Okay. So before they um you know crash, I hope they don't. I think we should interview them, and that might be one of their legacy. So yeah. Oh, you know what? Yeah. That could be Sally. Yeah. Let's give that to Sally, and then we have a few more people joining. Um, yeah, I told you, Grace. There's what's her name? Rachel Kim, Andrew Kim. Hopefully, we'll recruit 3 more people.
Um, do you want me to like make a short like summary of his medical history that in a layman's terms for the undergrads to read for the interview?
Yeah, because they might not have any clue what
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it won't take a long time for me, so I could definitely do that for Sean.
Yeah.
I could actually do that for the other patients. Actually, it doesn't take that long. It will just be really like brief summary, but I
Yeah,
need to
but it
put
will
them
give
on.
them motivation and what to
Yeah, yeah.
focus. And you can, Liam and Seungmi, you can help them like oversee, make sure they have the right questions.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can help them. Yeah.
I'll just make the summary for each patient. I could be in charge of doing that.
Yeah. And Liam, Seungmi, and Eugene, whoever's in the lab, you guys can take turns to walk with them to shoot video together. That's not difficult. So, but I guess choosing a good day would be the thing during winter time. um yeah, but it doesn't have to be the hospital. It could become with patient, it could be anywhere. um yeah, walking Magnificent Mile could be good thing, or the lakeshore, wherever, like we're just next to the hospital buildings, down to the old medical school building. Just walking that route, would be good. um yeah, so you could be as creative you can be, as you wish to be. Good. Anything else in me?
Uh, Nothing. I'm just not used to handling data. I'm used to Excel, but I'm not exactly sure what landscape thing is. So I'll just start working it early as possible. So from today, but nothing else.
All right, good. And Eugene O, when she's back in the lab, she'll be able to help.
Yeah, I think I can.
All right, thank you, Sunmi. Eugene, do you have any update?
Update for your kids or
Are they doing okay?
yeah, I think it's pretty valuable experience for me as a like I feel like I'm caring for 3 kids. Parenting class maybe for me.
Preview.
Yeah, but I want to share if everyone is okay with the time, like I want to share a brief um brief things I'm working on about the protocol
Yeah.
for lung transplantation. So
Yeah.
let me share the link. It's just I just took an initiative, so I didn't write much, but I think it's valuable for discuss about the objective for this. So here I sent the link in the chatting, and
Do you want me to share the screen? Or
Yeah.
okay. So I referenced the protocol that Sam
Mhm.
sent to me. So I just wrote the synopsis, and I'm working now on
Oh, wait.
introduction.
Go up. So invasive mucinous. So invasive. Let's take that out because there are many different subgroups.
Oh, okay. But the thing is, like, I found out that after like 2015 classification of lung tumor, like most people use invasive mucinous adenocarcinoma of lung instead of bronchoalveolar cell carcinomas of lung. So maybe do I need to delete the bronchoalveolar thing or invasive?
The thing is, some mucinous, some are not. Some bronchoalveolar are non-mucinous. So we need a way to capture them.
Okay. Yeah, so I think the definitions are not equal, like between.
Right. It's not equal.
So
do you have the WHO classification?
yeah, here
I think. Can you show it to me?
This is the thing I found. So
Minjung made a PowerPoint before.
Oh, so I tried to find out that PowerPoints, but I couldn't. So can anyone can share her presentation with me later on?
So just email Minjung. She
Okay.
has it.
Yes, I have it too. I can share. Yes.
Oh, thank you. And then I'll adapt the terms according to her presentation.
No, it's can you find that PowerPoint if you can find it and share?
Could you give me a second?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go back to it when Yuno finds it. Let's move on.
Okay. So I think the most important thing is objectives, I think. So can you just give me an input?
Evaluate the survival and quality of life of the patient. Provide clinical molecular genetic evidence to help determine potential candidate of effectively. So the objective is to
So are we gonna just collect the patients who received LT for invasive bronchoalveolar cell carcinomas of lung and retrospectively analyze them, or include prospective candidates and like?
This is all perspective.
Oh, okay.
No retrospective here.
I see.
Yes, I shared Dr. Min Jung's PPT.
Oh, thank you. So can I think I don't have access right now.
Let me see if I do. Yeah, I do. Let me share. So here's mucinous, I don't know. Here, this is the lung. Oops. There's different mucin, invasive mucinous. This is the biology.
Mm-hmm.
And what does mucin do?
Okay, so
So I think the main thing to look at is this one.
so there, I don't think like bronchoalveolar cell things in here.
Right, this is the new version. So that bronchoalveolar disappeared.
Mm-hmm. So who could be our target for this protocol?
So I would say, so this is all under adenocarcinoma, right? So number one, invasive mucinous
Mm-hmm.
and mixed invasive mucinous, non-mucinous is included here.
Mm-hmm.
And then colloid, enteric. Here's minimally invasive,
Mm-hmm.
non-mucinous, mucinous.
Mm-hmm.
Here's pre-invasive lesions.
Right.
So all these
Mm-hmm.
I think can be included.
Okay.
But as you can see, some are non-mucinous, right?
Right.
And it's very, I would say there's no one term to include all of these.
Mm-hmm.
In real world, it's going to be mostly invasive mucinous,
Mm-hmm.
but we will say selected,
Mm-hmm.
selective or
Select.
selective group of adenocarcinoma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, adenocarcinoma of lung.
Mm-hmm.
Um, without
Mm-hmm.
well, I think selective group, including invasive mucinous adenocarcinoma. Maybe just say including,
Mm-hmm.
because that's our majority.
Mm-hmm.
With without any involvement of lymph node disease.
Okay.
And no distant metastasis.
Okay.
So that will be our, and then in the selection criteria, we're gonna list all of these.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. And then you can say previously referred to as bronchoalveolar carcinoma type
Mm-hmm.
or something.
Yeah, maybe in introduction or
Maybe in introduction and also in methods,
okay.
Because, if you look at old, I
Yeah,
guess,
old paper.
pathologists,
Mm-hmm.
old school, they might still report
Yeah.
EAC. So it changes a lot.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that's I mean, you need an acronym: selected group.
Mm-hmm. Selective group of adenocarcinoma of lung, including
Yeah.
invasive mucinous adenocarcinoma, without any involvement of lymph node disease and no distant metastasis.
Right, with no lymph node involvement,
Involvement.
with no hilar or hilar mediastinal.
Both would be okay, but let me find.
Yeah, I mean, we could be, well, I guess in the hilar mediastinal can be added in the eligibility criteria, but because
Okay.
with no lymph node involvement and no distant metastasis. That, because in the title people want to know what it is, so.
Got it.
And you can refer the group as the eligible lung cancers. Or lung cancer with lung disease only, with lung involvement only. I want to,
Or
maybe
limited
find
to
a good name for it. Lung. Okay, let's go back to your presentation.
Then what we're gonna do is just collect the potential candidates for lung transplantation, and then are we gonna do molecular or genetic analysis for them either, or okay.
So patient outcome will be will include recurrence rate, not only survival. Recurrence rate, rejection rate, because it's transplant, right? Rejection, recurrence, survival. Yeah, those are the main outcomes.
Okay.
So look into quality of life papers on transplant patients.
Yeah.
Like, what are the metrics they have used?
Mhm.
Because they use some metrics that are already published, and it's a questionnaire.
Mhm.
The patient
Yeah,
has to fill out the questionnaire, like, am I eating well? What's my,
Yeah.
in the scale of 1 to 10, because we're doing this prospectively, we have to send out questionnaire
Right.
every time patient comes back to clinic.
Mhm.
So work on finding a mostly accepted questionnaires,
Mhm.
and it would be Liam's job to go into clinic and get that information from patient every time the patient comes in. So you can actually separate them. Just objective measures, and then quality of life metrics would be the second objective. The third would be so you can almost have it as a one primary objective is to look at all these objective outcomes,
Okay.
and then the secondary objective could be the quality of life and biomarkers that biomarker analysis that may be also that may predict clinical outcome.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing is like I want to ask, you're gonna do like you're gonna want to do comparison between the LT and other treatments such as chemo or resection, or you just want to study for transplantation just a single arm.
Oh, there's no randomization. It's just a single arm study.
Okay. But
So
wouldn't
it's
it
a
be possible?
prospective um perspective
Wouldn't it be a descriptive study then?
observational study or something. Perspective.
Okay. But
Perspective or registration track. There's gotta be a bit better wording.
okay.
Perspective observation study.
Perspective
Perspective,
observation.
yeah. Perspective observational registration trial. Or just you, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the secondary outcome would be to also, well, we're not trying to prove anything, but
Yeah.
so compare. So I think we could do like long-term follow-up could be like a 3-year follow-up, short-term 1-year outcome, and we'll do or one-year outcome and 3-year outcome and the 5-year outcome. And then we can compare all these, we could compare the measures to historical
Yeah. Like
control for non-cancer lung transplant. So that's still secondary. So maybe that could be so secondary outcome, number 1 is quality of life, number 2 is comparison with historical data for non-cancer transplant, and number 3 is the biomarker analysis. Let's
Okay.
just put it that way.
Okay, I'll rearrange it.
Yeah. And number of subjects could be
Yeah, because like back
we can, like
patients is
something
so
like
rare.
yeah, it's rare, but it will come from all across this United States. So I think we can start with 12. What about 12?
12. Okay.
12 disciples.
Okay, so the interesting thing is like I think this paper is very recent and very comprehensive about the PAC.
Yeah.
And it says, is it? Oh yeah, it reports like there are like registry for PAC, national like registry. So how about use that the US United Network for Organ Sharing Registry database? I think they got their data from here, but what we're gonna do is just collect our own patients, right? Not
Yeah, you can.
so they found 29 patients between 1983, 87, and 2010, like in this registry database. So
and then
and it was basically retrospective. So
yeah,
they they just compared those small number with like large other over 500 lung transplants.
Yeah, here 30-day mortality and 5-year survival. We could just use those objective.
Okay.
30-day mortality is, you can die from surgery. So that's just like a surgical complication.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think 12 would be okay to start.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Okay. And so, and I think I just wrote introduction like briefly, like draftly, but I think I can work on this more and until next week, like including the exclusion or inclusion criteria. So is it
Yeah,
okay
and then I told you we're gonna add all 4 types from WHO
yeah.
2015 version, but look into that paper and kind of, I know that that's a recent paper, but how did they deal with the new WHO? Did
Oh, I see.
they
Okay.
got a mention about because they came out after that classification, so
Yeah. Oh,
so
so
see what criteria they used, because I'm not sure what
okay. I will work on that either, and I'll present all of the things next week in lab meeting. Would that be
Yeah.
okay? Well,
Just a thought, it might be because it's a retrospective study. They had to work with the old criterias.
I see.
yeah, it's interesting. They still use this term, like
Yeah.
Well, because it's retrospective, even though the article was published in 2018, their patient list is from the 1980s to 2010.
right.
So all of their clinical diagnoses and pathology reports would have been using the old nomenclature.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like here, pathology was classified as PhD still.
Mm, mm. I think one other thing is, some are multifocal, and
Yeah.
in our lung cancer clinic, we often see like one GGO, ground glass opacity, is adeno, the other is squamous. We see mixed histology.
Oh, I
Even
see.
in one lesion, if you biopsy, the pathologist will read as adenosquamous cell. It's all mixed in one.
Okay. So
So
should we include this patient or?
so I feel like we want to be as inclusive as possible.
Okay.
So the other thing is, do you have you Eugene, do you have my PowerPoint that I made
Oh,
for
for
the
Albert
Albert Curie presentation?
presentation?
Do you have
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I think I can find here.
Yeah, if you have I made it in the
Yeah. Oh, it's just
oh, you don't have the actual slides. I have
yeah.
it. I'll share it with you right now. Hold on. I made it in Google Slides. Uh, Okay, let me put that in the chat box so everyone can have it, and then I'll share screen. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So go through them. So this is what I wrote. The next, so oh yeah. So we're gonna do these kind of MRD assessment, minimum residual disease assessment every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be part of the biomarker analysis.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll include that.
Yeah. Just like what we did with Albert Curie.
Mm-hmm.
And I will continue to use the Signatera.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have the tissue NGS, that's the Altera. And from the blood, you have Signatera.
Okay. MRD.
So this is what I wrote. So this,
Oh, I see.
refractory
Yeah.
resistant to standard of care treatment options and also trial options not available. If there's a really good clinical trial, then they should try that first. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I don't want them to like go to transplant as like, competing with other medical treatment options.
Oh, okay.
So I want to sort of say, hey, we used up pretty much. If there's a couple more chemo left, but if they get chemo,
Mhm.
they'll probably get more complications.
Hmm.
So no effective standard of care or trial options available.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is what I said: EBUS and mediastinoscope
Mm-hmm.
should be performed. Either one should be performed, not just by PET or CT.
Okay.
I want actual bronch EBUS
Mm-hmm.
or mediastinoscope
Mm-hmm.
to be done to prove that lymph node inhaler and mediastinum is not involved.
Okay. Got it.
And no evidence of this is by either CT or PET.
Okay.
Include and or MRI brain. MRI. Well, we don't have to say MRI, but brain and including brain imaging or something, just because some people have pacemaker and can't get
Oh, I
brain.
see.
I don't want to exclude them. So. And this is basic.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you have the link. So let's use this.
Yeah.
You
It
might,
helped me to write
need
everything.
this to write the case report with easier.
Okay.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
You can go back to your.
Oh,
Or are you done?
yeah, I think there's not much to show you at this stage, so
Okay.
okay.
Anything else, Eugene?
No more.
All right. Very good. Very good. Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. We can stop the recording. And I'll see you guys on our next meeting.